E3 is back, kind of. I mean, yeah, it is back, but it wasn't an in-person event, and it wasn't really that good. I mean, understandable because we just got back from a worldwide pandemic, and it's still going on. We didn't really get back from it, but a lot of these companies didn't really need to have a showcase. But there are actually quite a lot of announcements, and some really good announcements that I want to count down today. So that's what we're doing. Hi guys, DPX here, counting down the top 10 best announcements at E3 2021. Now when I say announcements, I mean games. No DLC, like I'm not including Kazuya and Smash, for example. Also, nothing from the Summer Games Fest. I wouldn't really consider that E3, so no Elden Ring. Although, that game looks fucking sick. Anyways, let's get started, but before you do that, you know what to do. If you like this video, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell, and leave a comment, or I'll snipe you.
I wanted to give to you, the last part of your notes here, the significance spiritually of the number 10 in the Bible.
One major complaint with not only E3 in general, but a lot of gaming presentations in general, is that they show a lot of CG trailers, and it could be annoying as a lot of the stuff you see is not gameplay footage and are ways off, and don't end up in the game. That is why the trailer for The Outer Worlds 2 alone puts the game on this list. All we got was a CG trailer for The Outer Worlds 2, but the trailer kinda poked fun at that. There was a funny narration calling out all the cliches we see in many CG trailers, and I just kinda like it when someone notices it. It's only at number 10 because it was a CG trailer. A funny one, but more so the fact that it's probably a ways off and we still don't know what it's gonna be like, aside from, you know, the fact that it's a sequel to The Outer Worlds. But it's definitely exciting as The Outer Worlds was a good game. I personally thought it was a little overrated, didn't deserve to get nominated for Game of the Year, but still good, and this could be even better, and maybe even deserve Game of the Year. So The Outer Worlds had a very meta CG trailer that made fun of CG trailers and is definitely a ways off. Now we got Starfield, and still no gameplay footage, but I'm still quite amped. Starfield, with the CG trailer we got, looks really cool and interesting. Apparently it's like Skyrim in space, which is an interesting concept, and I'm interested to see how the game plays. Not to mention, Starfield is confirmed to be an Xbox exclusive, so that is big. And as now the Xbox is getting exclusives, throw that in with the release date of Skyrim's 10-year anniversary and you have an exciting game. It just would have been nice to see some gameplay after waiting this long, even if it was like pre-alpha gameplay. Something.
So I'm going to be giving this flavor 8.5 out of 10 scoops.
So Nintendo really did just release Super Mario Party and left it to die and added online play 3 years later and then announced another Mario Party game a month later. Mario Party Superstars seems exciting though. It seems to be like Mario Party Top 100 where it was a best of minigame collection. And that game took some of the worst minigames and got it wrong. Mario Party Superstars seems to be the exact same concept, but from what I've seen and what they've shown in the Direct and in the Treehouse Live, they seem to have the right minigames. Also, they are including online play on day one, which should have been their day one for Super Mario Party. So, good thing they remember this time. I kind of feel like the Mario Party franchise is in a bit of limbo right now, but Mario Party Superstars can be the shot in the arm the game needs.
36.
Very close, but that's not it. Let's go to Gary the Retard. What number between 2 and 4?
7.
Square Enix had, just to be nice, an underwhelming showing at E3. They had 2 games there, and the rest were either nothing special, mobile games, or rough-looking Babylon's Fall. One very interesting game they showed was Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, and I was actually going to have that on this list, but with the recent demo that dropped and how I hear it's not that good, I'll include the other announcement from Square's presentation, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy. I was a little nervous, I'll admit. After Avengers, I wasn't sure about the Square Marvel license, but this is a single-player, story-driven game that isn't a live service and will have no DLC. Game visually looks really good and the gameplay seems fun. Sure, the characters look dumb. I'm not of the opinion that they should have gotten the MCU stars to play the characters, but I am of the opinion that the characters look dumb. That and you're only going to be able to play as Star-Lord. I feel like being able to play as some of the other characters, since there are 4 other characters that are with you throughout the whole game, would have been nice, but it's a more contained experience, I feel, and that's good. I'm definitely interested in Guardians of the Galaxy, though, and we don't have to wait too long to play it.
Okay, Mrs. Puff, what's my final score?
6.
Woo!
If you check back at my list of the most anticipated games of the year, in my opinion, you may remember Psychonauts 2 being number 1. But I had no predictions for Psychonauts 2 on my list of E3 predictions this year. I don't really know why. I guess I was under the impression that the game was delayed again, but boy was I wrong, because we finally got a release date. This entry won't be long just because Psychonauts 2 is only really on this list because it got a release date. But every time the game was shown up until now, we never got a release date. It was always a release window. But now we finally got a release date and I can't wait to play it on August 25th.
Chills. Literal chills.
It was number 5. Number 5 killed my brother.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Remember when Halo Infinite was going to be a launch title for the Xbox Series? And they showed the game like 4 months before it was supposed to come out and it looked like this? Well, Microsoft and 343 did the right thing by delaying the game what almost seems like a full year, and look at it now. Halo Infinite actually seems awesome now. The game visually looks better and the gameplay looks hella fun, and that wasn't even really a criticism ever. No one ever criticized how the gameplay looked, and it looks really good. Not to mention, the multiplayer is completely free to play. Not just with Game Pass, just completely free to play in general. And most people who play the Halo games play the multiplayer, so this is big. Halo Infinite should be an example of how a delayed game can be beneficial, although it hasn't come out yet, so maybe it's too early to say that, and it's scheduled to do so during the holiday of this year. Doesn't seem too sure about that if it's just a window. Should give us an actual release date, or maybe it's just delayed to 2023. Alright, I'm kind of cheating here because this isn't a game, and I did say games that were announced at E3, but I simply can't ignore Xbox Game Pass and just how much more awesome it's looking by the minute. Xbox Game Pass was already really fucking cool, but now Xbox showed 30 games and 27 of them are coming to Game Pass day 1. One major complaint I've had for many of Xbox's presentations before as a non-Xbox owner is that they don't give me much of a reason to buy an Xbox. But this presentation may have given me one reason. Game Pass. I think Game Pass is the #1 reason to get an Xbox. And this is coming from someone who loves physical media, and I just can't say no to Xbox Game Pass. And after all these Game Pass Day 1 games they showed, I'm starting to look into Xbox Series X restocks along with the PS5. Yeah, I'll let you know how that's going. You may have noticed that Ubisoft hasn't appeared on this list at all yet. That's because they had quite a poor showing. And sure, Avatar seems promising, but really, an Avatar game in 2022 it's supposed to come out? I know they're making a lot more of those movies, but the hype has died for that franchise, I feel. And Rainbow Six Extraction looks good, but I don't personally care. And the rest didn't matter. Except for Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Sure, it seemed more and more obvious as we got closer. Nintendo constantly puts Mario and Rabbids on sale for like $5, and Nintendo even accidentally leaked it on their own website a little too early, but it was still very exciting. Just like how Mario did, Mario and Rabbids started in the Mushroom Kingdom with Kingdom Battle, and is now in space with Sparks of Hope. This is a combination that shouldn't work nearly as well, being not just Mario and Rabbids, but also the gameplay of XCOM, and it works very well. And if this game is as good as the first game, Mario and Rabbids can become an unexpected, really big franchise.
What kind of pencil do we take again?
Number 2. Take a number 2.
Looks like you took a big number 2.
Now, Breath of the Wild 2 was probably the most anticipated announcement going into this E3, and for what I've seen, I don't think it disappointed at all. In fact, it might have even over-delivered. And the crazy thing is, we still don't really know much about the game. Breath of the Wild 2 seems to be set more so in the sky, kind of like Skyward Sword, and Link looks completely different, and so does Hyrule. Hyrule looks like it has been destroyed. Everything looks so crisp and so smooth, so much so that you even wonder how it's running on the Switch. And the Switch ran the first Breath of the Wild. But again, they didn't show much. In fact, it seemed like they almost wouldn't show this. I feel like they had to just because of how anticipated it was. And strange how we didn't get at least a title yet. And they say they're hoping for 2022. So, yeah, kind of unfortunate that it might actually come out in 2023, but that means that they are putting a lot into this game. Breath of the Wild 1 was many people say, perfect game, and the possibility of this game being even better is shocking. And before we get to number 1, let's look at some honorable mentions.
Luigi, number 1.
Want to know what had the potential to easily become the highlight of E3 this year? If Metroid Prime 4 was shown, but it wasn't, and I wasn't necessarily holding my breath, so it didn't surprise me that it wasn't shown. But want to know what they did show? Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread is the long-awaited sequel to Metroid Fusion, as it was teased in that game and leaked for almost 2 decades now. So much so to the point where it seemed that the game was cancelled. This looks like the ultimate 2D Metroid game. Metroid Dread seems really cool with the extensive look we got in both the Direct and at the Treehouse Live, which got me more hyped. Samus's design looks weird, but otherwise I am super stoked for Metroid Dread. And the crazy thing is that we don't have to wait long to play this game, as Metroid Dread comes out on October 8th of this year. Sure, there are probably more hype announcements, probably specifically Breath of the Wild 2. You might think that should have been number 1, but we're still a ways off from that game, I feel. Metroid Dread is right around the corner, and that's why it comes in at number 1. So that was my list of E3 2021 announcements. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Let me know down below. Anyways, be sure to like to comment, subscribe, or I'll snipe you. Anyway, see you later, guys.